Hey guys, this is lesson 6.2 for pre-algebra. So take out your notebooks. Title the lesson Proportions. So yesterday we talked about rates and ratios, and today we're going to talk about proportions. A proportion, here's a key vocab term, is two rates or fractions that are equal. So it looks like this. 1/2 equals 4/8. And then what they do is they will take out this number and put in a variable, and you have to find what that number is. So, recipe for solving a proportion. So, write down these steps, the 6 steps. Number 1, set two rates equal to each other. Cross multiply. Set those answers equal to each other. Solve the equation for the variable and divide by the coefficient. So those are the steps. Push pause if you need more time. Now, here's how you do this. All right, so tell whether each pair of ratios forms a proportion. So we have 3/4 and 9/12. So you write them down on your paper, and we want to know, do they form a proportion, which means do they equal each other? And I'm going to cross multiply. So 3 times 12 is 36, and 4 times 9 is 36. So therefore, yes, these do form a proportion because the numbers are equal to each other. If they were not equal to each other, they would not form a proportion. So now this one just says solve this proportion. So what you're going to do is you write your proportion, 3/5 equals 15 over x. Now this one's pretty simple. You can see to get from 3 to 15, I just times by 5. So my answer is going to be 25. However, they are not all that easy. We all know that it's easy at the beginning and then it just gets harder. So what they want you to do is do 3 times x. Write it here. And then do 5 times 15 and keep your equal sign and then write it on the other side of the equal, which is 75. So then you have an actual algebraic equation, and you can solve this pretty simply. You just draw your line and you divide by both sides by 3, so x equals 25. So if you can do it in your head like this one, was pretty simple. You can show your work by just saying, oh, 3 times 5 is 15, so 5 times 5 is 25. I don't care if you do that. However, if it's a little bit trickier, then you need to write out the algebraic equation. Write it out like this. Okay, so there are a bunch of story problems that go with these. And here's some steps. I don't want you to feel like you have to write all of this out. Paraphrase it. So number 1, determine what 2 units you are comparing. Okay? So you're going to compare 2 different units. Write the rate with 1 unit written in the numerator and the other written in the denominator. Use this to help you set up a proportion. So I will show you what I mean, but you're going to write the rate with 1 unit written in the numerator and then in the denominator. In each rate, all the same units must be in the numerator of each rate, and all the same units must be in the denominator of the other rate. The unit in the top and bottom of each rate must be related, meaning that they go together in the story problem. And when a proportion is set up, solve the proportion. Okay, so what this means. Postcards cost $2.45 for 5 cards. How much will 13 cards cost? So what you do is start with what you're given first. $2.45 for 5 cards. So you're going to write that in a proportion. $2.45 divided by 5. Okay? Write that in a proportion. And then look at what they give you second. 13 cards. Well, notice that I put 13 on the bottom of the proportion. I put it on the bottom because 5 cards was on the bottom on this side, and 13 cards goes on the bottom on that side. So whatever goes together, like 245 for 5 cards, that goes in one fraction. And then across from it is the other, and then across like 5 cards and 5 cards, they have to go, or 13 cards, they have to go together both on the bottom. So then you cross multiply. So you get 3185 equals 5x. And then you divide both sides by 5. So x equals $6.37. So you don't ever have to figure this out if you don't want to. But it does come in handy when you're at the store and you want, and something's like Meijer has those 10 for 10 deals. Well, if I don't want 10, I can figure it out my other way. So if I don't want 5 postcards, I want 13 because I have 13 friends, this would tell me exactly how much 13 would be. Luckily, they have computers that do this for us. So try this. Swimming goggles cost $84.36 for a 12-pack. At this rate, how much will 17 goggles cost for new members of the swim team? So try this problem, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so first you have to set up your proportion, and hopefully you did this. 84.36 over 12, because those go together. Those are right next to each other, first part of the problem. And then x over 17, because I don't know the price, and I know that I want 17 goggles for the new members of the swim team. I take my calculator, and I cross multiply. So I get $1,434.12 equals 12x, and then I divide by 12, and it would equal $119.51. All right, that is it for your notes.